JW-765 here today. Doing a video review on a gun that I've actually gotten a lot of questions about. Roughly about, I don't want to say anywhere around like 30, asking what the quality is in this gun. And that's the Century Arms double-barreled exposed hammer coach gun. It's not really my type of gun I would normally buy, but I got so many questions about it, and it was only $230, so I figured, what the hell. So I just bought it anyway. There's some pluses and some minuses about this firearm here. It's manufactured in China. The model is called the JW-2000. It's a good gun if you want to do a little bit of gunsmithing on it when you get it. I mean, first off, I'm going to start off by saying the stock on the gun is amazingly nice. I mean, the finish is really nice. The checkering's really nice. It looks like there was a lot of workmanship put into the stock, which is surprising. As far as the metal working goes in the gun, it's got kind of a matted blue finish. It's not a real high shine blue, which is kind of nice if you're using it for you don't want any shine. Barrel on it's nice. Barrel's nice and smooth, so it's properly honed. With a lot of real cheap shotguns, you'll usually see a not so shiny barrel. It does actually have one side full choke, one side modified, which is, I was kind of surprised when I saw that on this coach gun, because you'd expect them to both be cylinder bore, but, one's modified, one's full, so I'm kind of impressed with that for it being a cheap shotgun. But as far as it shoots very well. I've had one issue with it, and I'll go over that briefly shortly. It shoots very well. I mean, I wouldn't recommend shooting slugs through it because one side's modified, one side's full. If you're going to shoot a slug through it, I would highly recommend you shoot it through the modified side if you choose to, but I don't recommend slugs through this gun here. What else was I going to point out about it? It was $230, so it's not that bad. The problem that I noticed with it when I bought it was that, when I got it home, the hammers here, the exposed hammers, this one on your right here, if you would just pull it back, there's a little bit of give right there. If you pull it back and then release it, it would disengage the sear and snap forward and hit the firing pin. And that's an obvious safety issue, even if you do have the trigger block safety on. If you have that hammer back, and let's say if you shoot this side first, the concussion will cause this to just fly forward. I even did a drop test on it. I just dropped it in a carpet from about a meter up in the air, and I had the hammer back. I just dropped it, and the hammer would fly forward. I took it apart. It's not a very complicated action. You don't even have to be experienced gunsmithing to know how to do it. But I would highly recommend if you do it, you check it out. If you get the gun, not saying it's a bad gun. It's not the best gun. It's not the worst gun I've ever seen. But it's a decent gun if you're just looking to shoot shit at the range. Plastic bottles, use it for home defense. Keep it just to go out and shoot random shit with. Wouldn't really recommend it for hunting or clay pigeon shooting because the barrel's pretty short on it. But I had to do a trigger job on it. This one here, the sear wasn't cut properly, so it was only catching on a small part of the sear, and it had bad negative engagement, which is not something you want on a gun. That's where when you pull the trigger, this hammer slowly creeps forward, then snaps. I put positive engagement on this gun here. Alright, recut this so it's positive engagement, meaning that the trigger pull is going to be a little harder. I'm getting about 3.5 kilograms off this trigger here. And I'm getting about, this one here, the left side is unmodified. I get neutral engagement out of that, meaning hammer don't move at all until the trigger is fully depressed. Don't move forward or backwards a little bit. It has neutral engagement. So I didn't do anything with that. That seems to be okay. But I did give this one positive engagement. Recut the sear. Seems to work good now. I mean, that's the only issue I had with the gun. If you're looking to get a not relatively expensive shotgun, you just want something for home defense or something to just go plinking with at the range. Double-barreled coach gun, I'd recommend it. It's not entirely crap. It's got a lot of bad rap on the internet. You can't go comparing this to something like a Brunelli or something like that because it's just not gonna match up evenly. This is an economy shotgun. I mean, it's not a crappy shotgun. I wouldn't advise shooting a steel shot through it because the barrel is not chrome lined on it. I don't know, does it even say on here not to shoot? Oh yeah, right there it says lead shot only. It's manufactured at the Zhongzhou Machine Works in China. I mean, it's a fairly heavy shotgun too. The steel's pretty thick on it, which is a good thing and a bad thing. They aren't making these out of chrome moly steels. They're just making them out of a higher carbon steel. Not super high carbon steel, but one that would be fair, a gun grade steel. It's not a high grade. It's not a super low grade. It's kind of a mid grade, gun quality steel. The gun's gonna last. It's pretty, as far as the parts go inside. It's I don't want to say overbuilt, but a little bit thicker parts. Again, that's just because they're not using chrome moly steels. So the parts have to be thicker. A lot of the parts on this are die cast and then machined, which is uncommon. The AR-15, those receivers are die cast and then machined. But there are some parts in here that are die cast and not machined. For one is the sear. Well, obviously with the sear contacts, the hammer, it is machined there. So it slips easier. It's not a bad shotgun. I really can't say too many negative things about it. It's worked for me every time I've tried to shoot it. I did take a pigeon shooting once, and I did manage to hit almost all the clay pigeons with it, which I was quite surprised because of the shorter barrel. And it's double barreled. They're a little harder to hit pigeons with. That's why you see a lot of trap shooters use over and unders, because your sight alignment's better, because you got your front bead sight in one barrel on one side, so it's always going to be a little off. You got something you got to get used to. But it's a good shotgun. I would recommend it to someone if you're just looking, you don't have a gun, you just want something for home defense, something, protect your family with, something to, just keep in the car. That's what I'd get it for. It's nothing, to go hunting with, like I said, or nothing to have as a primary weapon in a world without order situation. It's just one of those guns to have if you already have 30 guns, or you just want to get a gun just strictly for home defense that you're probably hardly ever going to use. That would be the gun to get right here. It does have a trigger block safety on it, which I like. A lot of the older double-barreled exposed hammer shotguns from like the 1910s, 1920s, they pretty much quit making them in the 1920s. They don't have safeties on them. That's kind of a downside because these exposed hammer shotguns are always a little bit more dangerous because of the exposed hammers. If you have the safety off, you accidentally catch the trigger on something, and it will just push forward and hit the firing pin. But if you release the trigger, there's a safety feature on there, so it will not allow it to hit the firing pin. I mean, that's something that's been seen on firearms for 300 years. That's not an uncommon safety feature, but I do like the trigger block safety on there. It's easy reach safety, works. Overall the gun is pretty well evenly balanced. I mean, it's a little heavy for a double barrel coach gun. They could probably drop it by about, I want to say 800 grams, and it'd probably be, not quite that, maybe about 500 grams would be, about the right weight, but a little heavy. Don't bother me. I'm not a wimp. Don't bother me at all. It's not, I was surprised when I bought it. Nothing is loose on it. It's got pretty tighter tolerances. It's actually kind of stiff when I bought it. I've worked with it and shot it quite a few times now. It's been broken in, and as you can see, the barrel just doesn't drop down. You kind of have to give it a hit there, which is good. You don't want it super loose. You also don't want it so tight you have to pry on it. So I give it probably the overall rating of this shotgun for quality, probably about a B minus, maybe a C plus. For performance, I'd probably give it maybe a B minus, just because of the B minus, C plus, just because of this hammer issue I had here. Nothing, no problem at all. If you can fix it with a gun, if you're good at gunsmithing machine, you'd be able to fix that, no problem. Overall looks, just as the classic exposed hammer, I'd probably give it, want to say a B plus on there, A minus for the looks if you like that old Western style exposed hammer shotgun. Overall rating, probably a B minus in the entire thing, everything combined. It's not a bad shotgun, not a good shotgun. But you got any comments, questions, any special requests? Feel free to send me a message, and I'll make a video for Spartan 765.